Hi, I wanted to make a comment about the epic meltdown between Zelenskyy and Donald Trump and JD Vance today. Oh my gosh, I've never seen anything quite like it. I thought it was a very unpleasant thing to watch. And I've seen a lot of comments on YouTube about how it was kind of bullying from Donald Trump and JD Vance in terms of sticking it to Zelenskyy and putting it, kind of setting him up a little bit. I got a little bit of a different take on it. I think anyone who is familiar with the situation at all would be more sympathetic to Zelenskyy because of the fact that his country is being destroyed by a neighbor that's a terrible, Putin is a disaster, a dictator, and a very difficult person to deal with, and does not honor agreements. So he's not in an enviable position at all, and just the look on his face and the obvious fatigue and the lack of patience, and just he looked very worn out to me. And I imagine after a long flight, anybody who's made the flight from, where you're on a 15-hour flight or something like that, I'm sure it's at least a 10 or 12-hour flight with on all the time that and the time change and everything. He just looked worn out and agitated. And I don't think that helped matters, especially when you're in a conversation with Donald Trump. Oh my gosh, not an enviable position at all. I think he's right, Zelenskyy, that what's the point of having diplomacy when this person, Putin, is not going to honor what's on the paper? He's been through that already, and he's been dealing with this for years, and so have all the Ukrainians. So I think he made a valid point, but I think the number of times that he tried to talk over Donald Trump and tried to interrupt him, and a lot of people might disagree with me, but having had a lot of conversations with Russians over the years, and that kind of Slavic culture, they interrupt a lot. They try to talk over you a lot, and he did that a lot with Donald Trump today, and that is dealing with Donald Trump and trying to talk over him and interrupt him, as volatile and sensitive as he is emotionally. I thought that was a bad strategy, and I think Zelenskyy kind of walked into it being tired and ill-tempered and probably worn out, and then he fell into that trap of trying to talk over and interrupt Donald Trump. Bad idea. Bad idea. I think J.D. Vance at times tried to smooth it out, but I think that actually made it worse because Zelenskyy just wasn't having it. He wasn't going to back down and just take it that Donald Trump was simply trying to be diplomatic and find a solution, because he knows probably better than anybody that there is no real solution other than defeating Russia. It's the only way Vladimir Putin is going to stop. It's the only way you stop a bully is by hitting them harder than they hit you. And I think that's probably what needs to happen on the West, from the point of view of the West, Europe and America. I think that's ultimately what needs to be done, is to hit Vladimir Putin much harder than he's hitting Ukraine. I don't think Donald Trump is necessarily willing to do that, but I think that's the only real solution. But you see the effort to try to make a deal, this relentless talking about the deal, and you could see the irritation on Zelenskyy's face when this idea of the deal kept coming up. He almost was rolling his eyes at it, and I don't blame him, because I agree with him that I don't think it will work. But talking over Donald Trump and interrupting him a number of times, bad strategy. Bad strategy. I don't know the solution for this, and it's going to be interesting to see how it goes, because it does not look good. And I can just imagine that in the Kremlin and with Putin and the Russian propaganda machine, that they're going to feed on this like a bunch of vultures. And I imagine the situation will get worse and not better, because this is exactly what they want to see, is this division. And this is their only strength that they have, is that there's no opposition. And you see, the disadvantage of a democracy and the open flow of ideas is because it's an ugly process to try to reach a consensus. And obviously there is none. What a disaster of a thing to watch today. And I'd be interested to see if what people have to say in the comments. I thought all three had valid points, and all three behaved pretty badly.